Welcome to CBM Calling. My name is Julia Bowering and I'm the team lead of international programs here. And today we have the privilege of speaking with my colleague, Polisi Kivava, who is our relief and development specialist at CBM. And we've been talking a lot about food lately in our CBM callings, and today we're going to be talking about food initiatives with our partners in East Africa. So Polisi is joining us today from Goma in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where he lives and provides support to our partners as they implement their projects around East Africa. And Polisi is a skilled and experienced development practitioner. We were lucky enough to have him join CBM after a number of years working as the development director of our partner, the CBK. And Polisi has been such a help to me. In my few months here at CBM, I have come to really appreciate his experience and rely on his wise insight and how we can support our partners. So Polisi, welcome. It's so good to have you on CBM Calling again. I think this is your second time on the call. So tell us, how are you doing? How is your family? And has anything changed? What has changed since the last time you've been on with us?
Thank you, Julia. Yes, this is the second time. Last time I was with Terry on the call. And at that time I was worried about the situation in my family. You know, my wife, my daughter and her husband work in the hospital. And but I'm grateful that until this day, they are all doing well.
Oh,
and also the situation of COVID in the city is somehow decreasing. Even in the country, I can now move to different places in the country. So I'm grateful.
Good. Oh, I'm so glad. That's encouraging. Polisi, can you tell us about the different kinds of food projects and food initiatives that are happening through CBM in Africa right now?
Okay, food initiatives normally are of three kinds. There is food assistance, food security, and nutrition. But CBM and CFGB are mostly involved in food assistance and food security. In South Sudan, for example, we are mainly dealing with food assistance because the situation there, they have been at war for a long time, and then there were calamities, there were floods, but also drought. So there mainly the activities are in food assistance. Even here in Rwanda and Congo and Kenya, there was also some part of food assistance during this time of COVID-19. But the other aspect is food security, which consists of enabling the beneficiaries to contribute to the production so that they can contribute to sustainable self-reliance. Because food assistance is just for some time, but food security is a bit much longer. So we have projects in Rwanda, in Congo, and in Kenya of food security, supported and CBM. Two of the projects have come to an end, but we are now in the process of making the situation analysis so that we can start new projects in Rwanda and in Kenya. In Congo, however, the food security projects, CFGB food security projects are going on, and yeah, they are doing quite well because most of the rural areas were not affected by COVID-19. So farmers have still been able to visit, to go to their fields, although pressure from the cities were high, but at least they were able to deal with their daily activities.
Amazing. So Polisi, you were explaining we have food security, food assistance projects, and what was the third one that you mentioned?
Nutrition.
And nutrition as well, right? So
yes,
food assistance being where we give out food in situations like South Sudan.
Yes, this is war, in case of calamities.
The situation is quite desperate. Right. And then food security, where we can actually stay for a little bit longer and help people contribute to food production as well.
Exactly.
And can you name, again, can you just name the countries where we're working or we have different food projects again?
We have, as I mentioned, we have South Sudan, where we have especially food assistance. But we have also Kenya, where we are working with our partner ACC&S in food security. We have Rwanda, where we are working with the Association of Baptist Churches in Rwanda in food security as well. But also in Congo, we have the Sebeka Baptist Church, where we are working also in food security.
Amazing. Palisi, how has COVID-19 impacted these various food projects? What are some of the challenges our partners have faced in the midst of this time?
Well, food, let's say COVID, well, it's mainly the cities which were affected by the COVID-19. So our farmers are in the rural areas. So they were not much affected by COVID-19, except that the prices went high, and the prices of commodities. But the partners, as such, I would mention the churches, they were affected, especially the pastors, because the church lived on daily contribution, let's say on Sunday offerings from the members.
Right.
So when they closed the churches, some pastors had to go without payment for all these months.
Right.
And that is why this food, when CBM supported food assistance, it was a good support for the churches, because that is, most of the partners focused on those pastors, especially retired pastors and widows of pastors,
right.
because they had no support, they had nothing to eat. So it was very useful for them.
Yeah, well, thank you for highlighting that, because it's true, so many of our partners are involved in food security projects, but particularly this year, we have done a lot of food relief and food assistance in some areas where we haven't done that before, but because of COVID-19. Palisi, as we look towards the future and next year and even the years after that, how as CBM are we supporting our partners so that they can face some of these challenges?
Well, I think this question I asked, I gave it even last time again. What I find the best solution is capacity building of our farmers. When we train our farmers to produce, to improve their food production, we increase their capacity, and they are so proud of it. As I mentioned last time, I'm always happy when I visit projects and I see farmers and they say, look, this is what I have been able to produce with the techniques you taught me. And now I was going to the forest to look for a new field, but now I have improved my own field and I'm able to feed my children. And with the extra, I can pay the school fees. I always feel proud of that, because if you compare it with assistance, you will never see someone boasting about food he received in time of calamity as food assistance, because that one is just for one time. It is not sustainable. One more aspect that we have been developing and that I think we should promote is the system of saving and loan associations. Since we started it, I have seen also a change in the way of thinking of the villagers. You know, our villages did not have access to bank system for a long time, so they didn't know what it means to save. But also their income is so low that they neglect it. They think that they don't have enough, so they can have nothing to save. But since we started this system of VSLA, now people are learning to save, and at the end, when they share the saving and the profit, they realize now that they are able to do something useful. And this has expanded in the villages. Even people who are not members of the project are inviting our staff to train them so that they can start their own associations in the villages. And this has improved the economic situation of farmers.
That's so exciting. And I just think such an important value that we have at CBM as well is building capacity and empowering our partners to empower the beneficiaries of the project so that they are involved
Yes.
in the project itself, the project outcome, and the success that goes beyond the project, beyond the end. Thank you so much for highlighting those aspects, Palisi, as we look forward. I don't know about you, it gives me hope as I look into the coming year, despite all of the impacts and the challenges that COVID really has brought to the world. It gives me hope. as we plan for the coming years. I want to just
one more contribution, one more advantage. I just wanted to mention one more advantage that I have seen in this new way of empowering the farmers. It's about gender. You know, we Africans are highly patriarchal societies, and the role of women was a bit so undermined. But with the village associations, all of them are involved in making the decision affecting their village life. And when we include small animals, for example, in the projects, such as what we did in the Bukavu project, now even women, you know, it is, if you have a cow, it is difficult to decide to kill it when children don't have meat. But it is much easier to take a rabbit or a chicken, even the woman can decide on that, to cook it on a weekend, and then this doesn't require a long decision of the father of the family. So this has improved women's participation in the family management of income.
Wow, that's really encouraging to hear. And again, we see studies show time and time again that when women are involved in the decisions around economics in the family business and in the household, the whole household benefits.
Yes.
That's a really great point. Thanks for highlighting that, Felicie. I'm just going to take a moment because we have a shout out in our comments from Hector Antonio Garcia Santos, who says, hello, CPM from El Salvador. Thank you for your help to Abbas. Oh, Hector, it's so good to see you. Thank you for commenting and for watching today. And Hector is referring to a food initiative, a food assistance project that we did with Abbas, our partner in El Salvador, to address food insecurity in El Salvador. So very similar to what we've been talking about in Africa. And we were able to partner with Abbas, who had already been handing out food and supporting their communities that way. So thanks, Hector. It's good to see you. Felicie, a final question for you. I know that you recently got a chance to visit some of our food projects. As the restrictions began to open up, you got to visit some in August and then some just, I think, last week, the week before. Do you have any stories or highlights that you want to share from that time or those visits?
Well, okay, maybe the one I can pick is the visit to the pygmies. You know, we have pygmies in Congo. Pygmies are said to be the first inhabitants of the equatorial forest. And because of this, for a long time, they live on hunting and fishing and picking fruits in the forest. So they move from one place to another. But now they are facing a problem of land, because now with the development of agriculture, people are invading all the forests. And now it is difficult to get even a monkey. They can travel for a whole week before they get an antelope. So this is causing them problems. So the SEMECA has thought of integrating them in the food security project. First, they started in another previous project with habitat system, where they helped them build at least something permanent when they can stay. And now they provide some field, so that they started training them in farming. And when I went there for the first time some years ago, I couldn't believe the way they were living, because even their livelihood, their life expectancy because of bad conditions doesn't go beyond 40 years. But now they have accepted to adopt also the system of agriculture. And they started with vegetables. And after that, we were moved on to more sustainable crops like cassava. And now they planted bananas. But now with the new project of ecological farming, we have also initiated them to include cocoa in their cassava fields. So when you get to their villages and you hear their dreams, you cannot believe. They have really dreams now. And as I mentioned, they also even accepted to start an association where each of them saves $0.1 per week. And they have dreams until at the end of the year, when they divide what they have saved. So that was very interesting for me. Pygmies planting cocoa, and of course they have big dreams. Their village chief says, I will buy a motorbike when my cocoa starts producing.
Amazing.
But the other thing, what is important is for them, the only food was meat. If they didn't have smoked meat, they wouldn't think they have food. But now when they start producing their own cabbage and bananas, now they include vegetables in their diet, which has contributed also to the health of the children and even people in the village. This is a village of 30 families where we started this initiative, and I visited it last week. I was really fascinated by the change I saw in 2 years.
Thanks for sharing that, Polisi. It's so encouraging. I love what you said about this inspiring dream in the community, and I think what a huge change for them as a community that was primarily a community that migrated around, and now to be able to adopt these systems as some of their hunting grounds are no longer productive.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, the children now, it's an advantage for them because with this system of moving around, children couldn't go to school. But now that they have decided to settle, they promise to send their children now to school next year.
That's encouraging. Well, thanks, Polisi. I said that was my last question, but I actually have one more that I didn't put on the sheet. But I want to ask, how can we be praying for you, and how can we be praying for our partners that we've spoken about today?
Our partners have taken the role of the state in some social issues such as food security, education, and health. So I think we need to pray for the churches to be able to carry out this heavy duty.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I'm still having the same prayer request of opening up the borders so that I can be able to visit the other partners in Rwanda, in Kenya, and in South Sudan.
That would be so good. Well, see, we are so appreciative of your work, the way that you come alongside our partners and support them, advocate, and help us as we plan for the future with them as well. So thank you for your work. We are praying for you and your family. As you're watching this, if you want to learn more about Polisi and the work that he does with CBM, you can find out more information on our website, which is probably showing at the bottom of the screen right now. And thank you for watching and viewing along with us today. We encourage you to tune in next Tuesday for our next CBM calling. God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Take care.